In this week's episode of the Swearwolves, David gives us an update on his neighbors, the Klopeks. I get on a soapbox about Rob Zombie's The Munsters, and we discuss and review 2018's Overlord.
We'll begin with a reign of terror. A few murders here and there.
Welcome back to the Swearwolves. I'm Bret.
I'm David.
David.
Mm-hmm.
How are you, my friend?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good. David, since I've known you, well, not since I've known you, but pretty close to since I've known you, you've told me about these neighbors that you had.
Oh, yeah.
Who we affectionately refer to as the Klopeks.
Yeah, I think in one of our episodes early on, I think we talked about them. Maybe it was probably when we were talking about the Burbs or something.
Probably.
Yeah, but they,
just as
they
a refresher,
keep to themselves. They're creepy and weird. They do strange things like I think I may have talked about this, but like the day they burned their house down, or like the day after, they were like driving up and down our street with their lights off, like very, very slowly, like they didn't want anybody to see them. So weird. But yeah,
let's go back a little bit. The day they burned their house down, so their house caught fire.
Yeah,
this was roughly
6 years ago.
Okay, 6 years ago, their house caught fire and didn't demolish it because the fire got put out, but pretty much destroyed any livability of the house.
Yes. Yeah, the house was just a complete loss, but the house was still there, but everything in it was destroyed. The house was all boarded up. They were hoarders, so like they had tunnels and shit in their house. It was fucking weird. The fire department was telling me all about it. They're like, this is the weirdest house I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of weird hoarding cases, but this takes it to a whole new level. They're like, they got from room to room through tunnels.
Oh my God. What?
Yes, like just
like
shit
mice
everywhere. Yeah, like human mice, like mole people. But we always called them affectionately, well, with some affection, the Klopeks, because they're just fucking weird ass neighbors.
Yeah, the Klopeks.
But after it burned down, well, it didn't burn down, but mostly.
Yeah.
They also had this big ass tree in their backyard, a big eucalyptus tree that was huge, and it would just rain leaves into my pool constantly. Just awful. And then that's probably about 3 years ago or so. Lightning, the tree was dead, and I think it had been hit by lightning at some point. But there was a big monsoon storm here, and I came home from work one day, and my wife was upstairs working, and I looked out the window, and I was like, "Hey, when did that happen?" And she's like, "When did what happen?" I was like, "You didn't hear? Like, have you been here all day?" And she's like, "Uh-huh." And I was like, "Why don't you look out the window?" Our neighbor's tree had completely, like, this huge tree, it fell over onto their house and went through the house almost like a knife, like impaled the house. So now there was a giant tree sticking out of it. This went on for close to, I don't know, 6 months or so, the tree just being in the house. And finally somebody came out there and removed that.
Didn't it fall over and hit your...
It broke part of my wall.
Part of your wall,
just part of it.
Okay.
But, so the house has basically been vacant, boarded up with a tree hanging out of it for part of the time. But for 6 years, the house has just been sitting there, just destroying my property value. The day we got back from Mad Monster, I saw a big red sign on the front door, and I was like, I'm going to go be nosy and see what that is. And I looked, and it said, by court order or something, this house is going to be demolished between this date and this date. And this was like the next day. Like I like looked at my calendar. I was like, oh, that's tomorrow.
Did you sit out there with a lawn chair and a beer and just watch them?
Dude, I wanted to. It was just so fucking hot. That's also the same day that my AC was broken.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We talked about in last episode. But yeah, so they started demolishing it, and within 5 hours, that house was completely gone. They'd like knocked it down. There was piles of trash and all sorts of crazy shit that was still in the house. The city had come out like the week before. It set up a bunch of rat traps and stuff around just in case, because I'm sure there were rodents and stuff living in there.
There had to have been. There had to have been.
But within a matter of hours, the house went from being there to that just being a dirt lot.
So it's a dirt lot right now.
Yeah, it's completely empty. It's amazing.
Have you thought about questioning and seeing if you could buy it?
So we have a couple neighbors across the street who are renting, and they actually want to buy it. So they're going to try to buy it and put a house on it. But I was like, if they haven't put a house up on it by Halloween, I should totally make that my graveyard this year. Just use that whole dirt lot. I'm sure the city and my homeowners association would love that.
Yeah, well, what are they going to do?
It's not my house. What are they gonna do?
Well, that's a good update.
It's a feel-good story is what it is. I was so happy.
Good story of the year. Yeah.
When I heard it like coming down, I was like, yes.
Did you go out there and watch it for a little bit at least? Even though
Yeah.
it was hot as fuck?
I should have come out there and been like, 6 years ago, there was a house here. And now it's been years. It feels like an eternity.
It does feel. It feels like forever. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't think since I've like been hanging out with you like on a regular basis, anybody's ever lived there.
No. And anytime anybody comes over to my house for the first time, they're always like, hey, what's up with the place next door? And I'm like, ugh, I know. It's awful.
It was nice though because you could park there. Like if you had
Yeah.
parties and stuff, you could just park right in front of that house because nobody give a shit. And I know there's other neighbors of yours that would use their driveway.
Yeah, all the time. Well, now it's a big parking lot, so now I can have lots of people over.
Yeah, you should charge for parking.
There you go. Have event parking.
Yeah, event parking. That's
Dude,
cool.
that's what I should do because there's a water park down the street from my house.
yeah.
I mean, like about a mile away. But I should have a sign like and a flag like, oh, parking $10 this way.
Yeah,
and then have another person on another corner be like, keep going this way. Now turn here. Now walk a mile to the water park.
Well, or you could charge for shuttle then.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, $10 to park. I'll also give you a courtesy ride. Yeah, for
I won't come
$5.
pick you up, but I'll take you there.
Yeah, you gotta walk your ass back. I got plans later. I got shit to do. This ain't my day job. It's just my side hustle.
Next
They're like, you know what? I'm just gonna call an Uber, and you're like, well, that's also me. I have many side hustles.
next weekend,
Yeah,
we are
can't
going to be
wait,
at
man.
Steel City Con.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out in your area, kind of.
Kind of my area. Well, you are going to be in my area because you're going to be staying here.
Well,
but
yes.
we're going to drive into Pittsburgh and go to Steel City Con, meet John Carpenter, see the cast.
I can't
of
wait,
Dexter.
man. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, maybe see Alicia Silverstone. She's only going to be there Saturday and Sunday though.
I saw that, but maybe on Saturday.
Maybe
I don't know. Part of me is
if
like,
we
dude,
go on Saturday.
get an original poster from The Crush, and get her to sign that. It's like that's kind of a horror movie.
I would rather get Clueless.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not horror, but I watched the shit out of that movie. I saw that movie like 5 times in the theater.
I've seen it a bunch of times too. My wife and I quote it all the time.
Yeah, it's a great one. 90s classic.
It is.
But I was looking at Steel City Con, and then I was like, there's another convention that same weekend in New Jersey called Monster Mania. And I was like, where is that? And I looked it up. Well, I have to drive you back to the airport in Philadelphia on Sunday morning. Monster Mania goes until Sunday evening. And it's
And you thought,
20 minutes from the airport.
it's only 20 minutes from Philadelphia?
It's only 20 minutes from Philadelphia.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I mean, with traffic, it'll probably be like 40, but like
Still.
in an
that's close.
ideal world, like you could get there in 20, 25 minutes. So I went to my wife and I said, what do you think if we, when we drop David off at the airport on Sunday morning, we take a quick detour over to New Jersey? And she's like, who's going to be there? And I told her Skeet Ulrich was going to be there. And she's like, yep, let's go. So
She wants dreamy
wants to
eyes.
meet
like,
him.
oh.
And I told her, I said, that line's going to be long. So hopefully we can get there early enough to where
Do they have VIP?
they do, but it doesn't count on Sundays.
Oh, that sucks.
But I was,
Well, hopefully that'll be a good thing and the lines will just be shorter on Sunday.
that's what I was hoping. That's what I'm hoping for. But you never know. If the lines,
That's when you texted me and you were like, hey, what time is your flight on Sunday? And I was like, why? But yeah, that was a good plan.
Yep. So we're gonna go there, and there's a couple of people. There's the gal who first gets a gal. What am I? My dad. There's the woman who first gets killed in the first female death in a Friday the 13th movie. Friday the 13th Part 1. When it's like 1956 or whatever year it is.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
She's going to be their first con appearance. So I was like, well, get her to sign the old Friday 13th one sheet.
Yeah, and you never sign mine while you're at it. Because I'm going to bring some stuff for you
Yeah.
to sign and get signed for me.
And then I
Thank
think
you.
Lance Guest is going to be there. from the Last Starfighter and Halloween 2.
So I'll give you that poster as well.
Yeah,
Please.
and I have the Last Starfighter poster, so I was going to have him sign that. So,
are you going to meet Greg Nicotero?
If you want me to.
Well, for me, perhaps.
Yeah, if you want me to.
Cool.
Greg Nicotero is going to be there, and then Skeet Ulrich is going to be there too. So Christina wants to meet him, so I guess we could bring your Scream 5 poster and have them sign that. At least I won't feel like such a putz. I can be like, well, I'm there for a reason to have him sign something. I'm not there just because my wife. I'm not being cucked.
Oh, you still are.
Yeah, I still am, but I won't feel like it.
No, my wife did the same thing though. Remember when we saw him in Phoenix? My wife was drooling over Ski.
She was like, that was the first thing she said to us when she got there. My wife wasn't in town. Your wife was, and so she came down and she's like, "Where's Skeet Ulrich?" And I'm like, "He's right there."
He's right over there. She's like, "Oh my goodness gracious."
And she goes, "I can see why people." Whatever. So that'll be fun. It'll be fun to go. It'll be first time like doing 2 cons in one go round.
You're a madman. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Thing I wanted to talk to you about before we get into the movie that we watched this week.
And I got something for you too. You go first.
When this is released, this will be old news, but I still want to get our thoughts on this because I have some thoughts. Rob Zombie's The Munsters trailer came out recently in our timeline, and there's been a lot of hate going on about this trailer online. Twitter was abuzz with fuck this movie. Rob Zombie's an idiot. This movie looks like trash. It looks like straight to VHS movie from the 90s.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people talking shit on Twitter and on Facebook, but then I saw on Instagram, like he'd make the Universal or whatever posted about it, and it was all praise, and I was like, this is weird. It's all over the place. Yeah,
so I would like to share my thoughts on this, but I would like to get your thoughts on it as well. So go ahead. Do you have any thoughts that you want to share?
Well, my expectations were pretty low, and I think I've mentioned that before. I wasn't really expecting much. Yeah. Because to me, Rob Zombie's kind of hit or miss. He's kind of all over the place. And I feel like lately he's been more miss. Yeah. So I was kind of, the bar was very low for me. And on that note, my expectations were met in a way. Because like when I saw it, I was like, I did not like the trailer. I'm not going to hate on it or anything, but to me, it didn't look very good. It looked campy and weird, which, is kind of an homage to the original series, but it just looked weird to me. Like it did look kind of made for TV. Yeah. I couldn't get a sense of like, what is this movie even about? Mm-hmm. Is it about how they met or I guess?
Yeah. I'm assuming it
is. What is this movie about? And there was nothing in the trailer that I thought was particularly funny. Mm-hmm. Like there was stuff that looked like cool colors and stuff. I mean, you expect that from any Rob Zombie movie, but overall I was like, my expectations shall remain low. Yeah. And I will see it though, like when it comes out. I still want to check it out, but I don't know. I was not impressed with the trailer. How about you?
Well, listen, it's okay. I'm trying to articulate my thoughts. Would you be impressed by a trailer for the new animated DC superhero animals movie?
Probably not.
Okay, because that movie's not made for you.
Yeah.
The Munsters isn't made for us. And I hate to burst everybody's fucking bubble out there.
It's a kid's movie.
It's a fucking family film. It's a kid's family film. And I know everybody's like, but it's Rob Zombie. Okay, it's fucking Rob Zombie. What do you want from me? Robert Rodriguez did fucking Planet Terror and did Shark Boy and Lava Girl. So
yeah, no, that's true. But that said, like when I saw the trailer for The Addams Family, well, I was a kid though when that movie came out.
You were a kid, and that's why it means something to you, because when you're a kid, we have affection for these fucking movies. My kids don't give two shits about The Addams Family because they didn't grow up with it as that movie. And also by that rationale, We're talking about the fucking Munsters, okay, people? This you hit the nail on the head. It was campy. Well, the fucking Munsters. Have you watched an episode of the Munsters recently? Lily, I'm home. You know, and it's like, it's fucking dumb. It's dumb humor from the '60s. Yeah. From the 60s, for fuck's sake. It's like there's nothing sacred in this world that we have to protect. And Rob Zombie's not doing. And then somebody commented, they're like, well, Jeff Daniel Phillips is no Fred Gwynn. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Nobody's fucking Fred Gwynn.
No one is.
And nobody's Al Lewis. And
even
nobody's.
Fred Gwynn isn't Fred Gwynn. He's dead.
Yeah, and Al Lewis is dead. And Yvonne DiCarlo is dead. And guess what? That's the way it is. And then everybody's hating on the fact that he cast Sherry Moon. And it's like, fuck you. It's his fucking wife. He can cast her in whatever he wants to cast her in.
Well,
you don't have to watch it.
You work with people you like. And I think Rob Zombie's one of those guys that enjoys like filmmaking and being on the set and the camaraderie and all that. And he probably has that with these people. So
he has his friends and he has his wife, who's his best friend, I would assume. And they like to make movies together, and Universal paid him to make this movie, and they greenlit it, and he wrote it, and he's directing it, and he's a Munsters fan. And if you're a Munsters fan, you shouldn't be hating on it just based on a trailer. Did the trailer look kind of, I mean, to your point, it is kind of like, well, what's this movie about?
Right.
I would assume it's about how they met. I played this trailer for my daughter. My daughter's 10. I said,
is she all about it?
I said, let me just play this for you, and I want to get your reaction. She doesn't know who fuck Rob Zombie is. I played it for her, and I go, what do you think about that? And she goes, it looks good. I go, does it look like it could be funny? She goes, yeah.
There you go.
She didn't care because she has no preconceived. I wasn't
shit on her or anything. Like,
no, I don't understand.
I didn't post anything about it. I was like, whatever.
Yeah. Listen, is it a movie that I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait for the Monsters to come out? No.
No, but I will see it.
I'll see it, and if it's good, I'll say that it's good. If I don't enjoy it, does it mean that it's bad? No. It just means that it wasn't made for me. And that's the thing about these movies. Like, we review movies, but listen, these are our fucking opinions. I know last week we did The Greasy Strangler. I gave it 2.5 and you gave it 1. Like, we're pretty far off from each other on that. But that's just because it wasn't a movie that was made for you.
Yeah, not for me.
You didn't like it. But does that mean it's a bad movie? Well, it is. But but you know what I'm saying, though?
That movie was trying to be a bad movie, though.
Yes. But there's certain movies out there that people just, I don't know, they get their fucking panties in a bunch over this. And these are the same people. These are the same fucking people who will tell you that name some shitty movie from the fucking Demons or Demons 2 or Night of the Demons, you know, any fucking shit movie from the 80s.
The best movie ever.
They're like, oh, it's a fucking masterpiece. It's like, fuck off.
No, it's not. It's a piece of shit. And you can still like it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that
I like plenty of shitty movies.
Yeah, there's tons of shitty movies that I like. But don't hate on something just because. And, you know, Rob Zombie, yes, he's hit or miss. There are certain movies that I like of his. But anybody who says that Sherry Moon is, he shouldn't cast her, you haven't seen 3 from Hell. Because she did fucking awesome.
She was really good in that movie. I thought she was pretty good in Devil's Rejects as well.
Yeah, she was great in Devil's Rejects. And she was good in House of a Thousand Corpses. Now, that's the same character that she's playing in each of those movies. But she didn't do bad as Michael's mom in the first Halloween.
I don't get all the Sherry hate because she doesn't bother me at all.
She's not the reason why.
She was fine.
She's not the reason why you didn't like Halloween 2, okay? Halloween 2 sucked because Halloween 2 fucking sucked. Okay? And
that's
Salem,
not Sherry Moon's fault.
The Women of Salem, what's that fucking movie called?
Lords of Salem?
Salem.
The movie just sucked.
That movie just sucked. It's not Sherry Moon's fault. If you want to blame someone, blame Rob Zombie. He fucking wrote it.
Yeah, it's a shitty movie. Blame the writing.
So I'm going to get off my soapbox in just 1 second, but I will say this. I'll be the first to criticize Rob Zombie on his shitty movies because there's plenty of them. But I'm also going to be the first to defend him and the choices that he makes. And I'm going to be the first to defend the fucking Munsters because Rob Zombie's The Munsters, because it's a fucking movie based on a goddamn sitcom from the 60s, okay? It's not some fucking Precious, you know? It's not like he's going, hey, I'm going to remake Star Wars, You know what I'm saying? It's not like
Yeah, he's not ruining anyone's childhood.
no, and people that say that are assholes.
No, of course, it's the dumbest thing.
I fucking hate.
We've talked about that before too. Like you ruined your childhood by getting old.
Yeah, exactly. You're older now. Let other people have it.
Let it go. Yeah, let people have their fun.
It's like people who hate on the Phantom Menace. It's like I don't like that movie. But guess what? There's some fucking 5-year-old out there who that's the first Star Wars movie they ever saw. And they're like, I love the Phantom Menace. It's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, good for you.
They're just dumb 5-year-olds, but they'll grow out of it someday. But still, that's for them.
Exactly.
So, and that's what I'm saying. It's a fucking kids movie. It's a family movie. Whatever. I'm as eager to see the Munsters as I am to see the new Hocus Pocus movie, and I'm not eager to see that one either.
I still haven't even seen the first one.
Neither have I.
That's weird.
It is weird that we haven't seen that.
It's on talk about it, and every year, like at Spirit Halloween, I see Hocus Pocus shit everywhere,
and it's on all the time.
Still never seen it.
Yeah,
no.
And it's a Disney movie, and I'm like a Disney guy.
Yeah, I know. We should be all about it.
Speaking of which, I booked my trip to Walt Disney World for Halloween time.
Oh, you're the worst. I hate you. Congratulations, that'll be fun.
We're gonna go there and go to the Halloween party event too. So
that'd be cool.
Right before Halloween, end of October, we're going.
Oh, so, awesome.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
That'll be nice.
I'll text message you.
Yeah, make me jealous.
I'll take pictures.
FaceTime with me the whole time and just carry me around the park.
Even when I'm sleeping, just have me
take me down like Splash Mountain, have my face there, and I'll be like, whoa!
It'll probably be the last time that I'll be able to go down Splash Mountain before they change it to the Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog,
which I'm excited about too because
cool.
I like that theme.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about Disney rides. We're not even here to talk about the fucking Munsters, David. We're here to talk. Go ahead.
We will eventually talk about this movie, but I had something for you.
Yeah.
One of our listeners wrote us actually a few weeks ago and asked us a question, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. But this comes from Holly, who follows us on Twitter.
Okay.
I don't have her message in front of me, so I can't remember exactly what she said. But the gist of it was, what's a horror movie from your past that really creeped you out and still creeps you out, like to this day? I think we may have touched on this on an early episode. I'm curious if any, because I still definitely have one that really sticks out. There's probably a couple
that creeped me out. So a movie, I'll just say a movie that scared me as a child and still kind of scares me or gives me the willies.
The heebie-jeebies.
What is yours?
The Exorcist. I saw that when I was a little kid. Creeped me out. And that movie still has an effect on me when I watch it.
Yeah.
Like when it's over, I'm always kind of like, No, that doesn't do it for you?
No, The Exorcist never scared me.
We haven't reviewed that one, but spoiler, I think it's still, one of the scariest movies ever made.
It's good, don't get me wrong. I just never was really scared by it, but I didn't see it when I was young. I didn't see it till I was older.
Okay.
And until way after.
Another one that was like that isn't really that way anymore, but Alien, the first time I saw it, scared me.
Also another one I didn't see until I was
that
old.
one doesn't do it anymore. And then a couple modern ones that I still think are effective and creepy. It Follows and The Conjuring, the first one. I find both of those pretty effective.
I'll tell you the creepiest scene, the scene that made me the most uncomfortable in any, I guess we could say, horror film. I mean, it's definitely in the realm of things, and it wasn't when I was young. I'd have to really think about that, and I haven't had time to think about it, so I don't know if there's an answer to that question. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, there's still certain parts to it that get me. Like when Leatherface pops out at the radio station. That gets me almost every time. Even though I know that it's going to happen. Right. It still scares me. And I love that movie more now than I did before. But I remember when the first time I saw it, I was fucking scared. As far as the creepiness factor, the creepiest thing that comes to mind right now is, I believe it's in the movie Hannibal. Mm-hmm. Where Ray Liotta's eating his own brain.
Oh yes,
one of the
movie,
one of the creepiest fucking things ever. And it just, haunted me.
Yeah, Hannibal's feeding him his own brains.
Yes.
And he doesn't really even realize it. Oh.
It just haunted me for, I mean, I would say days. I kept thinking about it, and I was just like, what the fuck? And he didn't even realize that he's eating his own brain because he doesn't have his brain to, but yet he's still alive and he can still talk. And he's like, oh, what's that wonderful smell? And it's his own fucking brain cooking. Oh.
Oh, it was gross.
So that gave me the
That's a
shits.
good one.
You know, a movie that absolutely creeped me out when I saw it in the theater was The Blair Witch Project. And
I didn't see that in the theater.
The end scene fucking haunted me. Not so much anymore, but it's still
But
like
at the time,
it's still effective. I watch it and I'm still affected by it.
So the part where he's like standing in front of the wall.
Yes, and then the camera falls down and I'm still affected by it, but it was definitely one that did creep me out. But good question. I don't know if I sufficiently answered it, but The Exorcist is a good one.
We answered it perfectly.
The Exorcist is a good one, and that's one I would expect a lot of people. Like I said, for me, The Exorcist isn't it because A, I'm not Catholic, and B, I didn't see it until I was way older.
Yeah.
If I would have saw it when I was young, I probably would have been freaked the fuck out.
Well, and what's weird, like, I'm not religious at all and never really have been. So even at the time when I saw it, I was like, I don't believe any of this. But if I did, this would be fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're not here to talk
about a movie.
We're not here to talk about exorcisms. But thank you, Holly, for the question. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. We're here to talk about a little movie that's been on our list for probably about 4 years. I mean, this movie
Long
actually
time.
maybe not 4 years because this movie's not quite
Pretty
4 years
close.
old.
I mean, it's probably been on our list almost as long as, or is it for as long as the movie's been out?
Yeah, for as long as it's been out. The movie's called Overlord. Now, when we were,
and I had originally picked this because when we were doing 2 movies, I was going to pair it with Underworld.
Yeah, because
we're
you're
going to have
creative.
an over-under episode.
Yeah.
But it just never happened.
It never did, no. Probably because I never want to watch the movie. I never wanted to watch the movie Underworld. I tried to watch that movie. Maybe sometime we will. But I tried.
We'll probably do that one at some point.
I tried to watch that movie once, and I was just, I don't know. It was the mind frame I was in. I was just bored to fucking tears.
Oh, okay. See, I saw that in the theater, and then I think I bought it when it came out, but I haven't seen it in a really long time.
Yeah. I'll try. I'll try for you, David. I'll try to watch it. But I did watch Overlord.
What is this? A 1,000-year army. These 1,000-year soldiers.
Overlord. It came out in 2018. The release date was November 9th, 2018. So we had just started the podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
What was the number one movie
we were so young.
What was the number one movie in the theater?
I have a guess, but I think the movie, I'm going to go Halloween 2018, but by this point it was out for a few weeks, so it probably wasn't anymore.
It wasn't, and it got eclipsed by a more holiday, family-friendly movie.
Oh, okay.
The Grinch. The animated The Grinch.
Oh, okay. I saw that one. I liked it.
I did not see that one, but I'll tell you what. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the old made-for-TV.
I love it.
30-minute movie with Boris Karloff narrating.
Karloff?
It's a horror. It's a horror-related topic, but one of my favorites.
We watch that every year.
Every year, multiple times probably.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember seeing the new one. That's the one with, I think, Benedict Cumberbatch, right? Is he the one who plays the Grinch?
Sure.
I think so. I don't know.
It's better than
Saw it once. I liked it.
Better than the Jim Carrey one.
I liked that one too, but I haven't seen that one in years.
Number one song. What do you think that is?
I'm going with "This Is America" by Childish Gambino.
I love that song.
It's a great song.
I still
and
listen
a
to it.
badass music video.
Yeah.
Not the number one song.
Effective. No.
Yeah.
Very effective music video. If you haven't seen that one, look that one up. This is America by Childish Gambino. That guy's talented. Danny
Yeah,
Glover?
Yeah.
No, not
Or-
that. Donald Glover? Did
Donald
I say
Glover.
Danny
Yeah.
Glover? Yeah.
I was
Danny
like, wait a
Glover's
minute.
talented also. He's just not Childish
Look at
Gambino.
Danny Glover going, "This is America." He's got that rough voice.
I'm too old for this shit.
Don't too old for this shit. This is
Donald
America.
Glover.
There's your song. This is America. I'm too old for this shit.
No, the number one song was Girl Like You by Maroon 5 featuring Cardi B.
Okay. I'm
Girl
sure.
Like
I mean,
you when a guy like me. I
it
don't know.
doesn't sound familiar, but I feel like I've heard every Maroon 5 song 1,000 times, so I'm sure I've heard it.
Yeah, you probably
His voice
have.
drives me nuts.
Cardi
I
B
hate that
steps
band.
in. Cardi B steps in and she starts rapping. She's like, "We're gonna Cardi, rev it up like a Harley."
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I know that song. No
It's dumb.
thanks.
It's dumb.
No,
You don't like Maroon 5? You're not a
I
big
hate 'em.
Adam Levine fan?
terrible. No. He sings like this. Every Adam Levine song he sings like this. I'm Maroon 5.
Girls
Fucking annoying.
girls love Adam Levine.
They do. He takes his shirt off. He's a handsome fella. I'll give him that.
He's handsome. He's got tats. He's in a band.
It's just like they're one of those bands. Like, you know what I find interesting about their music?
Nothing.
Nothing. Like, it's just boring, generic crap.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anybody who's like, you know what my favorite band is? Maroon 5. I don't think I would hang out.
There's a guy that I used to work with. He didn't listen to this, so. But I remember he was talking about his favorite bands one day, and it was like Maroon 5, like Train,
Oh, no.
Matchbox 20. It was all like generic bullshit, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, like
And
pop.
it's like I hate to
pop
be a
rock.
music, like I hate to be a snob, but I was like, and what was nice about it, I was like, oh, those are bands. Yeah, that's cool.
You're right.
You like
They make
do you like
music.
Three Doors Down as well?
How'd you know?
They're my fourth favorite band. Oh,
Any group that has a song that mentions Superman in it. Like, doesn't Three Doors Down have that song? Like, was that
Yeah,
them?
the Kryptonite
if I
song.
go crazy, man, you could call me Superman. And I think Train has a song. I can't stand to fly. I'm not that naive.
yeah. Awful.
More than a bird, more than a plane, more than some pretty
And it's
face.
not easy to be me.
Just imagine Superman with a tear.
Oh, fucking awful. Fucking sensitive Superman.
Yeah, then kryptonite, and then also a pocket full of kryptonite. You throw in the fucking
The Spin Doctors.
spin doctors in there.
No, I actually like that song.
Yeah, that's all right. Written by Billy Ray and Mark.
That's a name.
And it is. And Mark L. Smith, directed by Julius Avery, with music by Jed Kurzel. This movie stars Jovan Adepo as Private Boyce. Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's child, plays Corporal Ford. Wyatt
There's
Russell,
definitely a resemblance there.
every time I see him, he looks more like his dad. He's just blonde. Wyatt Russell was recently in. He's the new Captain America in the Disney Plus TV show. He's replaced
That's
Captain
cool.
America. He's like the bad Captain America. He's pretty good, but I really think Wyatt Russell should just play his dad in a new
Like
The
a
Thing.
biopic.
No, in The Thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like they could do a sequel. Like John Carpenter could do a sequel to The Thing and just have Wyatt Russell
Just have him play his dad.
play his dad, and they could continue where the last one left off. I'm gonna fuck this guy's name up. Pelou Asbak. He plays a Nazi.
Oh, yeah, the guy that plays Waffner.
Yeah,
The Nazi guy.
Nazi Waffner. Mathilde Oliver plays Chloe, and then there's other people in here. Oh, Bokeem Woodbine plays Sergeant Renson. I like that guy. He was in
Which guy?
he was their sergeant.
In the
he's-
beginning?
In the beginning.
Yeah.
You've probably seen him in a lot of things, but he was in the second season, I believe, of Fargo, the TV show.
I still haven't seen that. I've heard it's good.
really-
He did look familiar.
It's really good. Runtime of this movie is 110 minutes. Budget was $38 million. What do you think it made in the box office?
38 million. Okay.
That's a big
I think
budget.
This movie was I felt like this movie made a decent amount of money, but I don't think it was like a big hit. I'll say like 45.
41.
Okay. Huh, just
Almost.
squeaked by.
Almost 42, yeah. Squeaked by. I hadn't even really heard of it until you brought it up to me. So I don't know like how big the marketing campaign was for this movie.
I remember hearing a lot about it when it came out because I heard a lot of things on both sides. I heard a lot of people saying this movie is awesome, and then I also heard a lot of people saying this movie's boring or this movie sucks.
Huh. Well, I hadn't heard anything about it. I didn't know anything about it.
Let's see what you thought.
Let's talk about it. Basically, it's World War II.
Yeah, it starts with with an opening shot and like the opening Universal logo and everything looks like from the 40s. So
Yeah.
That's kind of cool and in black and white.
And it's D-Day. Well, it's the day before D-Day, and all these paratroopers are in this obviously airplane,
Yeah,
and they're flying,
getting ready.
Yep, and they got a mission, and their mission is to parachute down, find this base, destroy this radio
and they know
tower.
where it is. Like there's a church and there's a tower. The tower is blocking radio signals or like scrambling them. So take out the tower so that way communications can resume.
Yep, and then all the troops can come in on ships to the beach, invade, win the war, shoot Hitler, bang, bang, boom.
War's over.
War is over. Well, nothing works out that simple. I'm gonna tell you right now, this first scene, David, this opening scene of them parachuting and everything, well, it reminded me in spirit of Saving Private Ryan. Because in Saving Private Ryan, it's actually that.
They're on the beach.
It's the beach aspect of this. But there is so much happening. And there is parachuting going down and people
Planes
crashing.
exploding around them and all sorts of crazy shit.
Dude, this opening scene is fucking awesome.
It was really, really cool.
And if you like...
And while they're in the plane, like getting ready to jump, like the plane is taking fire and there's fires and stuff. And you see people getting blown up and blown in half.
And
There's
people
a lot
get...
of gore.
And the paratroopers who are getting ready to jump out get shot.
Yep. And most of them die.
Yeah. Before they even... And then the plane gets like shot in half. So
Yeah,
it's
the plane's
going
going down, and the commanding officer or whatever, he's like straight up like just throwing guys out of the plane, like get out of here.
And you got to imagine something like this is nothing we'll ever fortunately have to experience. And hopefully no one in America has to experience this again. But during World War II, these were kids.
Yeah, they were drafted. Like,
You know,
they didn't.
My
quote, unquote,
grandfather, your grandfather, people that fought in these wars, they were kids. My grandfather was 19 years old when he went over to fight in World War II. I mean, can you imagine? I didn't even know my head from my asshole
yeah.
at 19 years old. And now I'm going to
Now
go,
jump out of a plane, go shoot that guy.
yeah, go kill people and then come back and pretend like everything's normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck. You know how fucked up those people are? Anyway,
Yeah, it's heavy shit.
get off of that. But yes, these kids are over there and they're all scared to jump and everything. Anyway.
Well, and
They do
even
jump
like
out.
our lead character, Boyce, he's kind of a pacifist. Like you can tell he's one of those guys like, I don't want to be here. Like, but I got a job to do, so I'm going to do it.
And not to mention that he's an African American, and in the 40s, you know, they're looked
Yeah. It was
down
a different
upon.
time.
And he can't even like blend in with Nazi soldiers. You know what I'm saying? Because they're
Yeah,
gonna
he
spot.
sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, it's not like he's gonna be
You're
like,
not
"Oh,
one of us. Something seems off with this guy.
what are you talking about? So yeah, so he crashes, or they land, and he goes underwater. Actually,
That whole shot is awesome of him falling out of the plane, going into the water, and then trying to like cut off his parachute to swim up, and then he has to cut the parachute so he can breathe.
yes,
Pretty cool.
It's so
Very intense.
fucking intense.
Yeah.
The whole first 15 minutes. I mean, there's lots of good stuff in this movie, but the whole first 15 minutes at least, until he cuts that parachute and he can finally breathe, is fucking intense.
Yeah.
Wyatt
He gets
Russell.
out. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Wyatt Russell is another guy who's on the plane.
He's like second in command.
basically he has to, he's second in command. He's a corporal, and he had come from Italy, and they brought him in to help do this mission because he's kind of like really good soldier.
He's just kind of a badass.
Yeah, and they're like, just go fucking do this shit.
Yep.
And he like just listens to orders and just does it. He doesn't care about who dies and who lives. He's like, we have a mission. This is our mission. This is what we do, and then we leave.
Yeah, we have our orders, and we're gonna follow them.
Whereas our main character Boyce is kind of like David said, like a pacifist, but he's also very like, well, what are the consequences of what we're doing?
Yeah, he's very idealistic, and he doesn't want to hurt anybody that he doesn't have to.
No. So Sergeant Renson, that's the Bokeem Woodbine, that's the guy, commanding officer. He gets caught, and Boyce sees him get caught, and the Germans are all like basically have their guns drawn on him.
Yeah.
And before Boyce can say anything, Wyatt Russell comes up behind him and puts his hand on him.
Yeah, because he's about to intervene and like try to save him, and he's like, "Dude, that guy's already dead.
Yeah,
like there's nothing we can do to save him."
Yeah, he was dead before he even landed. So
yeah,
don't fucking try. And he's like, "You just watched him." Well, he gets killed.
He gets killed. Yeah, and he blames him. He's like, "You let him die." And he's like, "Dude, that guy was already dead."
Yep.
And if we had done anything, we'd be dead too.
Yep. So they meet up with a couple other guys. They meet up with Tibbet and Chase. And Dawson.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dawson.
Chase is like a photographer, and Tibbet's kind of a wise ass kind of guy.
Like New York guy.
Yeah.
And Dawson is this guy who's like gonna write a book. He's like, I'm gonna write a book and da 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 da. And before he can really tell us anything, Dawson's done. He steps on a landmine and blows up.
Landmine blows up. Yeah, when that happens, it's like, oh shit. All right.
Well, I'll touch on that in my review, but yes, there's a lot of like deaths that happen, and you visually see a lot of death happen.
Yeah.
There's another guy too that they end up finding, but he was
that's much later.
They do, later. But I did want to mention him right now. Boyce has a friend. His name is Rosenfeld, and so I just wanted to mention that Rosenfeld is a guy that Boyce is trying to find.
Yeah, and on the plane, he was like, "Hey, when we get down here, like, I'll help you," or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, "I got your back. I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you," and then shit all goes haywire.
Yeah. They find a woman while they're kind of in the trying to find the base. They run into this woman named Chloe.
Yep.
Who's kind of out scavenging the dead bodies of soldiers and just getting stuff.
Yep.
And they're like, "Hey, are you from the village that we're trying to get to?" And she's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Can you take us there?"
And Boyce speaks French.
Yeah.
Because his grandma was from Louisiana or Haitian or something like that. And she
from Haiti, I think. And he grew up in Louisiana.
And she taught him like Creole French,
Right.
So she even says something like, she's like, your French seems a little off.
Your accent's weird. Yeah.
But he can communicate with her. And she does speak English, but better in French. And so they're like, take us to your house. And so she does.
And she's got she lives with her aunt and an 8-year-old brother.
And her aunt is, quote unquote, sick.
Yeah, we don't see her. We just kind of hear her like labored breathing from like behind a door.
Yeah. We'll find out. Well, we never really ever see her. But we find...
we get a glimpse of her.
Do we?
Yeah. Her face is all fucked up.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do get a glimpse of her, but we never, like, see her. Like, she never, like, just opens the door and comes out. But she's all fucked up looking. Yeah. Boyce does see her.
Yeah. And I like the 8-year-old boy keeps scaring the guy Tibbet. Like, they keep having moments where the kid, like, sneaks up on him or something. And he turns around and is like, ah!
Yeah.
Why does this kid keep popping up everywhere?
He's like, don't you have something better to do?
Yeah.
And then the little boy, and this grows over time over the movie, but the little boy is like infatuated by Tibbet, and he just like copies his mannerisms and sits next to him, and he does the whole Jaws thing, like we were talking about in the Jaws.
Yeah, making the same facial expressions and copying them.
Yep. Ford, who is the Wyatt Russell character, he sends Tibbet and Chase to the church where the Nazis are.
Yeah.
To kind of figure out, kind of where to
scout it.
Yeah, to scout it out and whatnot. And while they're gone, one of the Nazis comes in, and this is the Waffner. He comes in, and they're hiding upstairs, but they can see through the cracks in the floorboard him talking to this Chloe. And Waffner basically is like...
He's very horny.
Yeah, he's like, you're going to let me fuck you. And she's like, I don't feel good tonight, not tonight. And he's like...
Yeah, and we get the sense, like, this is not the first time this has happened. Like, he shows up and wants some loving.
Yeah, and he says, well, you don't want me to take your brother...
to the church.
Like I did your aunt.
And he's like, no.
And she's like, oh,
all right, I'll bang you.
But before that can happen, Boyce interrupts everything, and Ford has to follow Boyce, to save everybody's asses, and they kill some of the Nazis, and they knock out this Waffner guy, and they tie him up.
Yeah, and they tie him up.
Ford's like, to Boyce, he's like, you need to go reach the point. You need to go find Tibbet and Chase. And so Boyce goes out there, and he sees the Nazis like fucking with the villagers and stuff.
Yeah, and they've got like these carts or like flatbeds of just piles of dead bodies, and they look all disfigured, and some of them are still alive. And they're like loading them up, and then they take flamethrowers, and he watches them burn these people alive. And he's like, oh, fuck.
He hides amongst these dead bodies. And
he has to, because a dog starts chasing him, and he's like, oh, shit. And he's like running from the dog, so he jumps onto the truck just to escape the dog. And then he has to blend in with these corpses. But it kind of works out, because the truck drives right into the church that he was scouting. So he's like, well, I guess I'll get a really good look now.
Yep. And he goes, and he ends up in this laboratory, and he's seeing these German...
And he finds the radio room that they were looking for that's like scrambling the signals. So he's like, okay, we got that covered. But yeah, there's also something else. He sees a laboratory.
Yeah, and there's these Germans, fucking Nazis, who are doing experiments on people, and they're injecting them with some kind of serum. And
and he sees like these weird bags that are hanging overhead that have like people in them, but like full of fluid.
Yes.
I think he even opens one of them. Doesn't the guy say something to him like, help me, or...
Yeah, something
kill
like
me,
that.
Or I don't know, something like that.
And doesn't he take one of the syringes?
He does. Yeah, when he finds one of the syringes, got like a red serum in it, he puts that in his pocket. Yeah, he does. And then he finds two guys from his unit, including that one guy. What did you say his name was? Rosenfeld. Yeah, him and another guy.
The other guy
he doesn't look so good.
Yeah, the other guy is dead or whatever. I don't know what happens.
He appears to be like a zombie almost, or something. It's something we don't know yet what's going on, but he's like, what's going on there?
Yeah, but he rescues Rosenfeld.
Yeah.
And it takes him back to Chloe's house, and Tibbet and Chase are already there. And that Waffner guy is not cooperating. So Ford...
Because they show him the syringe. They're like, what is this? And in the scene, the Wyatt Russell character, Ford, he's like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's not our mission. Like, we just need to blow this tower up.
But he also wants to beat the shit out of a Nazi shithead. Yeah. And so he's like, okay. So he uses this as his opportunity just to lay into this fucking dude.
Beats the shit out of him.
They figure out like what they're going to do, and Waffner goes to try to escape. Yep. And while he's trying to escape, he shoots Chase.
Yeah, he gets Chase's gun and like wrestles it away from him and shoots him.
Yep. And Chase dies.
Yeah, that's a sad scene too, because he's like, oh, am I okay? And like you can tell he's like losing, like he doesn't really even know what's going on because he's dying.
Yep.
That's sad. Yeah, he dies right in front of him.
And having seen what the serum does to people in the laboratory, Boyce gets the bright idea just to inject Chase with the serum.
Yeah.
And he does.
What could it hurt? He's already dead.
Yep. And nothing happens for about a minute. And then all of a sudden Chase comes back to life. And then he's like all fucked up. He's like, what's going on? He's like...
Well, and before he does that, before he starts transforming, like he's like, he feels great. He's like, oh my God, I feel amazing. Like, and he looks at his wound. He's like, that doesn't even hurt. Yeah. And he's really strong. I think he like crushes a beer or a can or something.
Yeah, but then he's like, I got a headache. What's going on? He's like, I got a headache.
And all of a sudden, his veins start like bulging and his face starts contorting, and you're like, oh my God, what's happening to this guy?
Yeah, and he's like, I got a headache, and he starts bashing his head against the wooden pole and like busts it, and then he like whips his head backwards and his neck like breaks, and then he
Yeah, but he's
whips it
still
back
alive.
forward, and then he's like, he goes up to Boyce and he's like, what did you do to me? And then everybody tries to attack him, and nobody can kill him, but Boyce ultimately like just bludgeons the shit out of him.
Ford kills him like a second time, like shoots him a bunch, and then he dies again, but then pops back up. Yeah, and eventually Boyce just gets the butt of his gun and just pummels him until his head is pulp.
Yeah, his head is just pulp. So,
But while this is going on, the Waffner guy, he grabs the brother, the 8-year-old kid,
yeah.
and kind of uses him as like a human shield and runs away and gets to a car. And as he's driving away, like there's another firefight. They actually shoot him in the face and
Yeah.
like blow off part of his face, but he keeps going. He gets away, and he's got the kid.
So Wyatt Russell's like, listen, our mission, we're just going to go get that tower. And Boyce convinces him. He's like, look, we need to go rescue the kid. And even Tibbet's like, yes, we need to go rescue the kid. Like, we need to help
And
them
Boyce
out.
tells him, like, dude, we could do all of this. Like, it's all in the same spot. We could take out the
Tower.
radio jammer. Yeah, the tower. We can take out the lab, and we can get the kid.
And so Ford agrees. Rosenfeld is back to his old self. Like, he can help. Now, he's not 100% because he still was experimented on a little bit, but he wasn't like so far gone that he's not able to help. So him and Chloe is going to help. Boyce is going to find everything. And then Ford's like, look, I'm going to set these charges around, and I'm going to put a timer on, and then we can
Yeah,
rescue
for like
the
18
kid.
minutes, and we'll blow the whole place up.
Yep.
Oh, and while this is happening, Waffner's back in the lab, and he actually takes the serum and injects himself. And one of the Nazi doctors is like, we've never tried this on a living person before,
Yeah.
so be careful. And all of a sudden, he starts mutating, and he gets super, super strong. It's like, okay.
Yep. So they're in there and they're doing their job. They rescue the kid. I mean, some shit happens. Like,
The way they get in is kind of cool, too, because they take one of the Nazis that's out there, and I like that they put, like, explosives all over him.
Oh,
They put a
yeah.
grenade in his mouth, and they put a piece of tape over it, so when the Nazis pull the tape, it pulls the pin, and blows them all to bits. I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
it was great. Anytime Nazis get killed in a movie, it's
it's
the
always
best.
a pleasure.
But Boyce and Ford get in there, and Ford's setting the charges, and Boyce is doing his thing, and that's when Waffner comes out. There is a Nazi who there's two Nazis that Chloe meets, and she's like, where's my brother? And the one's like, I don't know where your brother is. And so she shoots him, and then she goes to the other one, where's my brother?
Where's my
Do you
brother?
know? And he's like, yeah, I'll take you to him. But he takes her to a place where they have all their experiments people. Like,
Yeah, he tries to get one of them to basically
Monsters.
kill her.
because they're monsters. I mean, let's
Yeah.
call a spade here. So he takes her to that, but Boyce comes and rescues her, and then the Nazi gets eaten by the monster. But whatever. The important point is that Waffner comes back, and he starts beating the shit out of Ford.
Yeah, they have a big fight.
It's kind of like the switch around what was happening earlier, and he fucking hangs Ford by a meat hook right
Oh,
through
it's
his
very Texas
sternum.
Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah.
Yeah, right through his sternum, and it's like fuck. And then he's gonna,
exactly. Like Texas Chainsaw, but from the front.
and then he's gonna basically keep him alive while he's torturing him. And
Yeah, it's
Waffner's
pretty
all
gross.
fucked up looking. He's got half of his face blown off, and he's like this mutated monster looking fuck. He's awful.
Yeah, he's crazy looking. And Ford's putting up a fight. Like while he's kind of away, Ford pulls himself off of the hook. Which,
Yeah, because
that
Boyce
hurt.
comes in, and Boyce distracts Waffner long enough for Ford to pull himself off the hook. And when he does, he finds some of that serum, and he injects himself with the serum.
Yep.
And so he gets strong enough to where he can fight.
Yeah, and he saves Boyce because now Boyce is about to get killed by Waffner. And he
Yep.
stops that.
Yep. And Ford tells Boyce, he's like, look, go set the rest of those charges. I didn't have time to get it all done. And he's like, but you're going to die. He goes, don't worry about me, basically. Like,
Yeah, he's like, I got this.
yeah, we're going to complete this
And he basically
mission.
said, like, I wasn't going to get out of this alive anyway.
Yeah.
So go.
Yep. So Boyce does. and he runs out, and then the whole place just blows to smithereens.
Yep. And while all this stuff is happening, it's cool. We also got like a side thing where like the 8-year-old kid gets away. Chloe gets attacked by this monster that looks like Jason Voorhees, like unmasked.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of this bald, deformed looking thing.
Yep.
And she gets a flamethrower and torches him. I thought that was kind of cool.
It was, and I was thinking the whole time, like, Wyatt Russell should have a flamethrower on.
That would have been awesome. That would have been a good homage.
Homage to the Thing. So yeah, everybody gets out. They go back to the...
That's a cool scene too, like when they're blowing up the lab and he's running out and you see like all the shit just like falling around him and exploding. That was pretty cool. And
he gets out just in time, but he gets back to the village, and all the villagers
and all the
come
radios
out.
Start working in the village, so we know they were successful.
Yep, and the radios start working, and we hear like President Roosevelt is blah 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 blah, and you know the Americans are attacking, and it's D-Day.
Yep.
Boyce comes walking up out of the rubble, and that's pretty much it, right? I mean,
yeah, he talks to like the new commanding officer, who basically tells him like, hey, you're going to be reassigned to this other group. Tibbet and Rosenfeld are going to be reassigned, so the war's not over for them. Like, they're not going home.
Yeah,
it's going to keep going. But he asks him like, hey, I heard rumors that there was a secret lab where they were doing some experiments there. Do you see anything while you were in there blowing it up? He's like, nope, didn't see a thing.
Yeah, and the guy's like, that's what I thought.
Yep. The end.
What'd you think of this movie, David?
Dude, I really liked this movie.
Yeah?
I thought it was really cool. The action, I mean, that opening scene, I know we already talked about it, and the airplane is awesome. But there are several moments of just tension of like, oh, what's going to happen? Like when the guy kills their buddy. And then once... There's a little bit of a pacing issue with the movie, I think, because we don't really get into the monster stuff until pretty deep into it. Like the second half really is where some of like the monsters and the mutation stuff starts to happen.
Yeah.
The first half plays more like a war movie.
Yeah.
Like it reminded me a little bit of like Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then the second half is just kind of a crazy bonkers monster movie. So it's almost like two movies in one.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool. But I thought the makeup, the special effects were really good. I thought it was pretty well acted. I thought they made some choices that didn't seem quite logical. I mean, I don't have a military background, so I don't know how much of this is like, that's not what you would do. I felt like there was probably some of that going on.
Yeah.
But overall, I really liked the movie. I would definitely watch it again. I'm going 3.5 on this one.
That's exactly what I rated it. I said 3.5. It's a really good movie, and I would recommend everybody to watch it. It's got a lot of, if you like gore, it's got a lot of good gore, a lot of good kills. Like, I mean, not necessarily that I like gore, but if you like that in your movies, like where somebody's head gets blown off, or
exactly, or like watching Nazis get their arms and their limbs severed and blown up.
And that's exactly what I wrote here. Nazi shitheads, or Nazis are shitheads and they die, so that's always good. So 3.5 overall, 3.5 from you.
Movie.
3.5 from me. Good movie. If you have any thoughts on Overlord or the Munsters or anything else in this fucking world, you should reach out to us. How can they reach out to us, David?
Yeah, on Twitter, Facebook, The Slasher app, TikTok, YouTube, just search The Swearwolves. On Instagram, search The Swearwolves Podcast. You can go to our website, theswearwolves.com. You can email us at contact@theswearwolves.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 623-282-1851.
So for the Swearwolves this week, I'm Brett.
I'm David.
I can't stand to fly.